Well, hi. Happy Monday. I'm so glad to be here. And I'm really proud of myself for being consistent. So, thank you all for joining, for participating in this journey with me. I love it. I absolutely love it. So, before I jump in, okay, I'm Betsey Grady. I am a Akashic Records consultant, and I've been doing this professionally for, I want to say, 9 years. Um, could be a little longer, but still long enough that this is what I've been doing day in, day out. And it still to this day brings me as much joy as it ever has. So I'm glad to share it with you. I wanted to let you know I have a few questions to go through today, and then we'll see what we have show up here for those of you that are joining us live. And we should have time to get to your questions today. And I wanted to tell you, so that my husband said I should remind everybody this, and I totally forgot, but he said, even if you don't send in a question, when you tune into, events like this or shows like this, you're inevitably going to get an answer that you didn't even know you needed. And he said last week, someone had sent in a question about their stepfather and how they couldn't be there with him when he made his transition. And she had some real regret that she didn't spend more time with him and that she didn't get there to be a part of that. And his words were just so kind and reassuring. And my husband said that was really meaningful to him because the same thing happened in his life. His stepfather came into his life very young. His biologic father passed when he was, I think, about 5. And so his stepfather came in maybe a couple of years later, 3 years later, and pretty much raised him and his sisters. So he called him his dad. And he had the same regrets and thoughts and feelings that this woman had written in. And he just wanted to say that that answer was really helpful to him and made him feel a lot better about something he didn't realize he was carrying. So I thought I would share that. So thank you guys for sending in your questions. Be open to whatever messages come through for you. So before we get started, I don't know if y'all get my newsletter. And last week I had a conversation with my guides. Now, I will open the prayer or open the records. I'll say the prayer, open the records. I'll see what the guides want to say. Yet I want to just take one moment and share something that came to me with my conversation with my own guides. And I've probably been still paying attention to too much stuff going on in the political world for my own wellness and well-being, mental health. Um, Yet my guides just kind of dropped in that we needed to really look at this, what's happening in this administration. This first 30 days, it's just been a whirlwind. It's been shocking. It's been, a lot of people are overwhelmed. I mean, there's so much. I don't need to go into all of that. Yet they said to look at it like COVID. And, COVID came in as a wake up call, just sweeping, through not just our country, but the whole world and bringing change where it was really needed, forcing change where it was needed. And it's like businesses that were treading water finally could surrender, and those people could go, find another life, a new identity, create something else that was in more alignment with who they were. Relationships that were people were just staying in for whatever reason, convenience, comfort, who knows. A lot of relationships ended. And it's like big decisions were made with COVID. And yes, of course, we lost a lot of life, yet it was also something that brought the whole world together. Like everybody was going through it. And so they said, think of this as like it's happening again. Just it's like a different kind of COVID. It's affecting the whole world and everybody's responding. And so it's really bringing everyone's awareness back, united again. Like we're all looking at the same thing. and we're all wondering what's going to happen. How's this going to go? And it's the same thing that COVID did. So COVID was, a wake up call for us. And it was, gosh, we were seeing such positive changes. And I remember my husband and I sitting outside looking at the stars, and there was no street noise. It was just so wonderfully quiet because there really weren't cars on the roads. Everybody was staying home. There was nowhere to go. Places were closed. And, the smog went away in LA and Dallas and probably Atlanta. I wasn't here at that time. And I remember in Gulf Shores, down there on the coast, deer were coming out and playing on the beaches, and it's like, oh my gosh, I wonder how long they've been wanting to get back out there. So there were some really neat things happening, and yet they didn't last. And I even remember talking to a few people after COVID. We all got back to kind of our little groove, and a lot of people were disappointed that not that COVID was over, but that the way of life that we were starting to shift to was over. Like, oh, it didn't last long enough. The changes that we were seeing just with respect that was showing up for teachers and all of the healthcare workers. It's like, gosh, and the way families were really coming together and not racing from one thing to another, having real dinners, and playtime. So we are guided, and this was again my conversation with my guides, to really look at this time with this new administration as a different kind of COVID that is getting the world's attention. And while there are, all of those things that are disrupting and terrifying, something good is going to come out of this. And, I joke because I don't know how many of you play Wordle, but Wordle came out of COVID. And it's like, and now everybody all over the world plays it. So I'm not saying another game's come out of this yet. There can be real positive change. Is this a bigger wake up call? Yeah. It's just as big as COVID and maybe even bigger. So all we can do is keep that in our perspective and trust that we will get through this. And there is another side to this. And there will be blessings to really appreciate and value. And so one of these things with wake-up calls in particular is they do remind us what we value. They remind us of what we forget to pay attention to, what we neglect in our own lives. And so they it's like these wake-up calls like COVID and this pandemic, they do highlight things for us in our lives, and we do take stock and reflect and hopefully make changes and remember what really matters here, what's important. And it's like we have an opportunity to, what I say, that old cliche is, take time, slow down, and smell the roses, along the way. And remember, if this were the last year of your life or the last day of your life, you're not going to spend it worrying about so many of the things you normally worry about. And that's what these wake-up calls are about. It's like, hey, how are you living here? And what is it that you can change to put you living in a way that's more in alignment of how you want to be here, or that makes your heart sing. And that's what these times are about. So collectively we're getting a big shove, and yet individually we have to really look at what our heart is calling forth. So, okay, thank you for letting me share that. Hi, you guys. Thank you for joining. Okay. All right, I am going to read the prayer. Okay. I ask God if He will have a shield of love and truth around you permanently, so only God's love and truth will exist between you and me. I allow the masters, teachers, and loved ones of you to channel through me out of whatever realm to say whatever they wish. I ask the permission of the Lords of the Akashic Records, so I'm able to look into the records of you and remove whatever information I'm allowed. Okay, give me 1 second here. Okay. Well, the guides are so funny. Um, they always like to begin with sharing their gratitude for you being here, for you being interested in this work, and interested in the messages, and just bringing your energy to share with everyone. They said they would like to use the word seekers. And seekers, you are all seekers. And they really appreciate that. You are the ones, they said, that are interested in evolving, interested in expanding. Like you're ready for new knowledge, new truths, or new perspectives, whatever that might be. But when we reach for new, we're reaching on that, um, edge of our comfort zone, and so we're stretching ourselves, we are evolving, and that is really why we are here on the planet. Our souls are evolving, and we evolve through our experiences. And so when we think of it that way, being seekers, we also have to be great observationists. And they said they want to it's like they give a little bow and a nod, and acknowledge that you all are wonderful with seeking and observing. And those two really go together. Observing is where we can be in that neutral place, and we're just looking at what's going on in the world or personally around us, and we remain neutral to it. We're just observing, and we're being mindful of our thoughts, and um, just around whatever we're watching. So this is a big time, and it is going to call some of us to action, and just be in alignment with you, your heart, and your soul as you move through the world. And they said you really can't go wrong when you do that. So, again, much appreciation for you being seekers, being observers, and really wanting to see change. And they think that's a really beautiful thing, to value change, to appreciate change, and to know that change really does come bearing gifts. So they said, thank you, thank you. The one more thing they said is, and for being open, it's like you to be a seeker, to be observing, to be willing for change, um, okay with change. You also have to be quite open and open-minded to be on that journey. And so they want to acknowledge that too. And if you find yourself stuck somewhere where you can't be open-minded, then step into that observer's position and really look at that and examine why. Because it's probably just an old thought pattern, or maybe it even doesn't belong to you. Could be somebody that's close to you, or somebody in the family, who knows. But all right, let me see what else they said. So they want to remind us, and they have said this before, they will always emphasize two things. Well, three things. Okay. They said they will always emphasize three things, and that is following your heart and really understanding that your soul's wisdom all lies there in your heart. Follow your heart, follow your heart, follow your heart. Hang on. They also said they will always emphasize kindness, kindness, kindness. Be kind, be kind, be kind. Have compassion for others, and let go of judgments. We don't know what other people are going through. And then the third thing they said, they will always talk about vibrations and how to raise your vibration. And they come to humor every single time. It is the quickest way to raise your vibration. And so if you can find a way to laugh more, and those really hearty, no pun intended, laughs, they said it's like you've kind of got the playbook for life here. So sure, would they say, if they could throw things in about being kind to your body, that's just under the Be Kind umbrella. Be kind in what you do. And And along with that is let go of any judgments. All right, let's see here. Let me see. I love. Oh, okay, I see some questions coming in. All right, let's see here. Let me see if the guides have anything else. No. So I am going to hop over to our questions. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Yesterday, I saw the numbers 111, 1111, and 777. And at 2:47 p.m., I got the download of the song These Dreams by Heart. Oh, is that not funny? This question right after they were talking about the heart. I also noted that the song was 4.44 minutes. I researched the lyrics. Today, the next day, I saw 11:11, 12:12, and 9:99. And 11:27 a.m., I got the download of the song, same song, These Dreams by Heart. Again, what is it that I might be missing or not understanding that my spirit guides and team want me to know or become aware more of at this time? Oh, isn't that funny? Okay. Well, number patterns are an easy way for your guides to get your attention. And because numbers are everywhere, they're everywhere, phone numbers and addresses and license tags and clocks. And, we're always looking at the digital stuff. So numbers are super easy to get your attention. And so when you see repeated patterns, yeah, they're trying to get you to notice something. Can you look at the individual numbers? Absolutely. Do they mean something? Sure. Um, just it's so funny. 11:11 and 11:11:11. That one in particular. Think of the number one. It's a straight line going from your crown to the universe, and it's like you have a direct connection. There's no interference. There's no curvy route to what you're thinking, wondering, questioning, being, doing, going straight up. And so when you see all those ones, it's a reminder that you are totally connected and there's all this communication without any interference. And so it's kind of like, what are you thinking right now? And so number patterns, all number patterns bring you into the present moment. And so the more you see them, yeah, the more you need to come into that present moment. The more you need to be aware of what's going on around you. What are you doing right now? What are you thinking right now? And so number patterns are a way to get us, it's kind of like a first step to be mindful. I love that. They've never brought that message through before. And so some numbers are going to be personal, and somebody that sees 777, I just met with someone who was born on 7/7 and she was turning 77. And it's like, sevens are going to mean something different to her. Um, but if you see 777, when I see those in readings come through for people, I'm like, ooh, that it's like Lady Luck's on your side. Something lucky is headed your way, or this is a really positive time for you. So, not all numbers, um, like I said, are universal to everyone. So the song "These Dreams" by Heart, I'm like, gosh, I think given what the guide said in the intro, live from your heart, live from your heart, and we are here to honor the dreams in our heart. So remember, we came here, our soul, with a plan to have certain experiences, and so the guides are saying for you in particular, you got this message, you got this download, these dreams. They're trying to remind you to not give up on the dreams that your heart carries, and oh, I love this too. They're saying, and that your heart is really singing. Your heart wants to sing like the band Heart, and it wants to sing these dreams out into the world. And so they're telling me to tell you that there is something, you're so close, and yet there's a little resistance there, and they want you to take that leap of faith. and move in the direction of just singing your dreams out from your heart. I love that. Just so cool. Okay. All right. Here's a question on moving. How soon will I be moving to Northern California? Oh, I just love Northern California. What a wonderful place to be. Let's see what the guides say here. Hmm. Hmm. You know what? Well, for some reason, hmm. You know what? Well, for some reason, they're taking me to summer, and it could be the end of summer, sometime late summer, but it does feel like it's going to be this year. Now, timelines on things like this can slide around. I am hearing there's things to prepare in the spring season. Um, and yet, this can happen quicker than you might even imagine. And again, there's a dream in your heart around that they said to make a priority. But it does look like you could be moving sometime this summer. It certainly feels like before the end of the year. So I would say you might be on a fast track, and can you accelerate it? I don't know. Um, they're just saying there's some preparation that needs to happen in March, or the spring. When I say spring, I always think March, but the spring season. So hopefully that's helpful. Okay. All right. Here's one. Okay. I'd like to know if your guides have any information about when the medbed technologies will be made available to the public. Will it happen in 2025? The medbeds are an advanced quantum medical technology that has the ability to heal the human body at the DNA level. This includes the ability to regrow limbs for amputees, as well as restoring the vision of people who are blind. There's a lot of false info on the internet about the med beds, and only a small number of information sources are trustworthy. I love questions like this. It's so fascinating. There's so much going on here. And so, all right, let's see here. Let's see what the guides. So, one thing the guides are saying, again, thank you for asking this question, and this attests to you being a real seeker. And they said, give me 1 second here. They said it's really important to ask questions like this. It does bring more awareness to it. Now, while some people might dismiss the idea, the guides are saying that more people talk about it comfortably and out in the open, and the more that people hold a vision around it in particular, the quicker it is to actually manifesting into our reality. And while it might seem like something is really out there, you know, things like electricity were once out there. Um, so we have to remember that everything starts with a vision, an idea, and this, I love this. So they'll answer your question, but they want to go here first. So it's almost like in that quantum field where everything exists, all ideas exist. The quantum field is also evolving. It is expanding. And so some of us down here, all of us, we're all bringing in ideas, just different kinds. And some people are lining up with, say, technology that does this, and they are bringing that forth. But what's important, the guides are saying, is to speak about it, is to have that vision for it, share that vision of it. And while it may not be in everybody's reality and supported, in different news outlets or scientific journals, things like that, eventually it will be. Will it be in our lifetime? The guides are saying, hang on 1 second. It does not feel like 2025 by any means. I wouldn't even say it's going to be within the next 5 years. And part of that is there's still so much just the health and wellness field, that medical field, and we're not talking about pharmaceuticals, but just that whole arena of illness and wellness and fixing and solving is still too focused on money. And so, what I am hearing is as the globe shifts into a different consciousness that really is about wellness, that really is about innovations. And we are in that time. We are starting to be in that time of Aquarius, ruling. And so, it is very possible. They said that we have to put our vision on all possibilities and talk about all possibilities as if, what if one day this happens? What if one day we can do this? And they said that's really where the magic is to keep believing. That stuff is out there, and maybe there's misinformation. Maybe it's still protected or policed in some way. But they said to keep talking about, keep sharing the visions, even if they feel like ideas or daydreams. You know, people thought Nikola Tesla was crazy in his time, and yet he was just brilliant. And, we're seeing things like that. And I know we've talked about this before. It's like, remember the cartoon, The Jetsons? If you were in the, 70s, 60s, 70s growing up, it's like we're seeing stuff like that now, and those were far out ideas then. And it's like, so it is within reach. If you're bringing this question forth, it is within reach, which means some of it, where there's smoke, there's fire. It is happening. Things are coming to the surface. But the main thing they want to emphasize is keep the vision, and yet understand that our consciousness has to move towards wellness, and that's really our priority. So when we start focus on longevity here and living here in a healthy way, what we want to create in the future, it's like, oh, it's a matter of just shifting. It's not a quick shift though. um, will there be pieces of the medbed technology that come to light quicker? Yes. Will it be, so I don't know how to explain that, but they're just saying, yes, like one thing it might can do might come out first. So it might come out in steps, if that makes sense. So hopefully that's helpful. So, they're already doing so much incredible work with DNA and extending our telomeres and stem cells, and just, gosh, there's so much out there. And we really are moving in a time, and I would say even maybe why some of this shakeup is happening politically is because people do want better options. They do, and more people have to ask for things to be better, before that stuff starts showing up. Will it come out in the U.S. first? Probably not. Are there other countries with much more advanced, I would say, policies, open-mindedness towards innovations? Yes. And that's okay. That's totally okay. Who cares where it comes from, right? Um, but again, keep that vision alive. So thank you for asking that. That's cool. Okay, let's see what we got here. Everybody joining in. Um, okay, hi Betsey. Such a beautiful day. My husband and I have been using quantum meditating to manifest a larger home. Will we close on it next month, and will our daughter move in with us? She has been struggling. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so what the guides are saying is envision yourself moving in, envision yourself signing the contract. And of course, you're already doing that, seeing that out in the future. They said the more important thing is see your daughter thriving, see her finding that peace and relief. Does look like I can see a bigger home for sure. And let me see here. I don't know if I would say next month, but it does feel like it's within the next 3 months. So, whatever work you're doing, that quantum meditating, is, I would say, is working. Stick with it and be mindful too, if any fears come up, to acknowledge those fears. Or any doubts or worries that you might have that bubble up. They said the most important thing, yeah, it's like you're lining up with something that's already in the future. It's been established out in the quantum field. And so now your work is to line up with that. And it's really anything we want in life is about that. How do we line up with it? Because it already exists. And so it is about keeping the vibration high. It is about holding tight to that vision. Sometimes, and it gets a little confusing when we are trying to manifest something, we'll have a vision and the guides will say, let it go. We got it from here. Don't even think about it. And that's really because the more we think about things, sometimes we realize we don't have it yet, so I need to do this. And so what we've done is create the energy of not having it yet. And then that perpetuates. And that's why things remain elusive. So that's the real tricky piece. If you find yourself, we need to do this quantum meditation because we don't have this yet, then you're really more acknowledging you don't have it yet. Does that make sense? So it's so tricky. It's like, how do you get in that feeling of receiving? Like, oh, this is a great universe. One of the things that guides are saying is just look around you and see the abundance that's in nature around you. Even just think about the abundance of people here, on the planet, the abundance of stars. This nature exists in an abundant way. Everything is abundant. And when you can let yourself tap into that abundance, and that you're a divine child of this universe and it's yours to receive and play with, it gets you away from the I don't have it yet vibe. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. So they're saying stick to it. If you don't feel like you can be 100% in that receiving place, go do something else until you can come back and be in that place. Mhm. Again, these are so wonderful questions. It's like, yes, quantum meditating is a thing. It's like, and Joe Dispenza, if you haven't turned into his work, is really a pioneer in that and introducing a lot of people to it. So Becoming Supernatural is a great book to start of his, if anyone's interested. So thank you for asking that. Okay, let's see. Will my heart need fixing? My physical heart. Okay, here. Okay. I'm hearing assistance, needs assistance. And it would be, I don't feel like it has to be really invasive either, yet it is something to be focused on for sure. Um, I'm not hearing that there's any, threat. Yet I'm hearing your heart is calling for attention. It, and that's literally physically, and of course, energetically as well, emotionally as well. Um, they are telling me that it's calling some new, looks like lifestyle and practices in for you to be open to also. But yes, so I am hearing pay attention to your physical heart, the condition of your heart. So, okay, when will a new dog come into my life? Okay. Let's see here. Well, for some reason, it's a question you ask. I'm kind of like, oh, can't you just go get a dog? When will that, happen? Can you dictate that? And the guides, um, but I'm just curious. I always, I'm going to tell you what the guides say, and they're telling me it's not like that. And for you, there's a different way for this dog to come to you. This one feels more like the fall, if that makes sense. So I'm not sure what that's about, but they're taking me into the fall, like September, October. So, all right, hopefully that helps. Okay, let's see. Do you see me being able to heal enough to return to work? Lingering issues after abuse, but don't qualify for assistance without kids. And if I go early SSA, you have to repay if you return to work. Okay. All right, let me see. Let's see. I'm hearing yes with work. Um, and I will tell you, it doesn't feel like this year though. So I don't know what that's about. Will you do little things, odds and ends, here and there? It feels like it, but as far as like going back to work, hang on one second here. Doesn't feel like it this year for some reason. So I'm not sure what that might be about for you, but I'm just hearing hang tight. Stay where you are, continue to heal. Again, hold that vision of you working because you are moving in that direction. Just know the timing of it is kind of on its own. It's got its own plan there. So your work looks like it's continue to heal. Um, and I would say that's again on all levels: physical, mental, emotional, maybe spiritual too. So, mhm. They said one thing that you're working, a theme that you're working is trust. And that's a huge one, trust. And it does encompass trusting spirit, trusting yourself, trusting others, trusting your divine journey. So they do want to acknowledge that that is something your soul is, I always just say, working this lifetime. And when we don't trust, we're obviously moving in that direction of trusting more, of learning to believe in the unseen or in our own selves, in our power. So, but yeah, they said to give it another year, is what it looks like. Okay, University of Oregon is where I was doing promising research on regrowing natural teeth. Oh, see, isn't that just so cool? I don't know if y'all can see all the questions, but the University of Oregon was doing promising research of regrowing natural teeth. I believe that too. I read an article a few years ago about somewhere in Europe doing that as well. I think we're just on the edge of so many cool things coming to light. Let's see here. All right, here. Let's see. Can anyone learn to work with their guides to tap in and read the Akashic records like you do for us? I really resonate with the way you read for us, and you've been spot on answering my questions. Oh, thank you. And I would say yes, absolutely. Um, I would say, did my soul come in here with an intention, to live this way? Yeah. Um, did I have those kind of extraordinary experiences, in childhood? Yes. Yet, most of you did too. Many of you did too. I'm not any different other than my soul wanted to do this lifetime. And I'm so glad. I really am. I always just get so tickled that I chose this lifetime. So, yes, though, it is available to everyone. You all can do it. I think the biggest block is the practicing of it and the doubting of it. And so, people that do study the Akashic records or try and launch out into something like this really struggle to believe, struggle to trust, think they're making it up, or they don't practice enough, and get those responses. I will tell you this though, one thing I think is really key to being successful in reading the records, hearing what's there, is meditation. And I've meditated for years. I mean, for years and years and years. And in meditation, I learned to connect with my guides directly. And I learned to hear their messages. It comes through in a different tone, a different feel, even different words. And so I could really, delineate or understand the difference between what they were saying and what my mind might be making up, so to speak. And so I had a wonderful dialogue going for a long time, and that allowed me to really trust, um, when I got into the Akashic records. So um, the other thing I would say is becoming attuned in Reiki and getting the Reiki, symbols literally downloaded into your body. So your body tunes into the vibration of those symbols, and those symbols really unlock latent abilities within you. And so if I had to say anything, if you want to do this, doing the Reiki attunements, having that, going through the, whether you go through a class or just the process of it, and really getting into your meditations. And I'm talking meditations where you go into what I call that inner sanctuary, and you really spend time exploring. You know what? I've got an old meditation out there on YouTube. Like, I don't know how many years ago I put it out there, and it's just like a recording from my little kitchen area at the time. But it's called Creating Your Inner Sanctuary, and I did that meditation over and over and over and over again for probably a year solid. Um, when everything just clicked for me. But the same meditation, repeating a meditation, gosh, it's just you're training your brain to go to a place, and the more you do it in that repetitive nature, the quicker you get there, the easier it is. But getting into an inner sanctuary is like you're going into this private place, and only people that you invite there to come can come. And that can be people that have passed, that can be your spirit guides, it can be uh, you might invite an animal messenger to join you in your sanctuary one day. And it could be a bear that walks up, it could be an eagle that flies in, it could be a dragon. And it's, if you can create that inner sanctuary and go there as often as you can, you will have such a magical experience. And it's frustrating at first because meditation, gosh, you know what? It can take 45 to 60 minutes before the mind really gives in and becomes quiet and open to what's out there. Most people don't sit long enough for that to happen. So I would say, if you would practice that, go find that, create your inner sanctuary, and just do it over and over and over again, and watch what happens. Because I guide you through the entire process. All you have to do is listen and just let your mind's eye do the rest. um, I would say that's huge. And you will start connecting to the unseen world. It just sometimes helps to have it anchored in a place like that. But eventually you won't need that either. So um, Reiki is great because it opens those gifts. And you can also use, in Reiki, there's what they call a distance symbol that transcends all space time, barriers. And I use that. I used to use it to connect to the other side. And again, I don't need that either. At the time, I thought I did. So there are ways to really get into this. But yes, absolutely. And that, I'm so glad you asked this too, because when we don't know what our soul's calling is, or we don't know what our heart's trying to lead us to, I will tell you this: if you have a fascination with something, if you find you're just so curious, or you love learning, or you love experiencing, you've probably got a gift in there somewhere, that is calling out to you. So hopefully that helps. And if you have any other questions around that, like uh, what else to do with, meditation or Reiki or practice, just please let me know, or bring that up in another session here. So that's so cool. Okay, just curious. I had a very tumultuous relationship with my mother. Does she have anything she wants to say? It's always been a question mark with why she did a lot of things. Okay. All right, let's see here. Well, you know what? I am hearing to tell you that your mother had a mental illness when she was here. And it was long before you came along. One of the things that I'm hearing is that she did write into her soul's experience to have what she calls a fractured mind, a challenged mind. We might look at it as a mental illness, but there really was something going on. And it was a time when not a lot of opportunities or options were out there to treat it. And she was hoping that part of the journey, she had kind of written in children into her experience to see if something there would break open for her, like love for a child be so strong that it would be what healed the mind. And she said she learned otherwise, did not have that experience. And she has gratitude for you for playing that role for her, to let her soul have this experience. And uh, as painful and difficult as it was for you growing up with that, she was here for a very specific reason. So, hang on here. It's almost like the emotion of love was blocked, and uh, it's like how do you live life when you can't really feel love or express love? And so somebody studying the absence of love, it wasn't that she was unloved herself, yet children tend to really open the hearts of people. And she was hoping that that may be a way love could come in. And really, they're just saying it was almost like if love was a little faucet in your mind, hers was completely shut off and there was no available tap. So, except for animals, for some reason, there's one animal in particular that seemed to be a companion. I don't know what that's about. I don't, huh. So, it's really hard, but you do, if you can hold that understanding and that you are a wise being that agreed to play a difficult role, for her to have that experience. So, she has nothing but gratitude for you with that. Hmm. Wow. Thank you for asking that. Okay, let's see. Yes, you're right. It's 9 years ago. Thank you. The meditation is called Inner Sanctuary, Going Deeper. Yeah, um, that should be that should be it. So thank you, thank you. Do you think the guy I'm seeing might go the distance for a permanent relationship? Mm, I think you asked this last time. Um, let me see if there's anything different. They're not giving me any more information um, than they did. Let's see here. But this one does feel different. And they said to more take this day by day and make sure you're following your heart, listening to your heart. And um, they said watch for the number patterns. And that's your sign to just be in the present moment with this. Um, so that practice of appreciating what is, um, they are telling me to tell you that um, love in your life is just part of your journey, and it will continue to be. Will it be this one person, the distance? Will it be another person? That I'm not sure. but I would say it's destined to be there. So, but this feels good. I don't get anything wonky around it. So, I would say this can be more to be revealed, and yet your work here is to really be in the present moment with it. Okay, hang on here. All right, one more question, and then we're going to wrap up today. Will my relationship with my sister be healed? Okay, hang on here. I'm hearing not quite in the way that you want or hope. Uh, there's hurt here for sure. Um, this might be another one of those kind of like who asked about her mother and her mother having a mental illness. There's something there, I would say, with your sister that's a little blocked. I don't know what that's about. Um, I feel a stubbornness there. Uh, Yet, the guides say, what we fight against is always fighting back. What we want to manifest, we're always in the state of wanting. And so they said you are real powerful here, and that you can surrender this, and you can trust that on some level, whether it's in this physical realm or in that quantum realm, there is healing. There is healing. And they said if you would allow yourself to tap into the higher souls of both of your beings, there is healing there. And they would have you spend more time in that feeling. Even if it is not in your current reality, spend time in the healing place with the wise divine soul beings that you and your sister are, and realize these are just characters this lifetime. This is a play that you're in. You're having this antagonistic moment, and yet on that higher realm, when we're in that place of our higher selves, none of that exists. And they said they would have you spend time there with her. Imagine being with her higher soul. You will feel better. You're going to shift the energy and the trajectory of what's going on now, and you'll start to feel like there's no conflict at all the more you spend time in that place. And so you absolutely can create the change for that in your physical reality. So I love that. What a great question, and I love that answer. So thank you. Oh, you guys, this is so cool. Okay, so, I normally pull my little angel cards, but since I'm doing those on my newsletter on Mondays, I'm drawing 2 angel cards. I decided to get my little, this one, Spirit Animal Oracle cards. Okay, so I'm picking an animal for us for the week. Oh, how about that? We get the ladybug. I can't do that. Good luck. You are bright energy. Let worry go. Be happy here and now. Feel good about being a loving and colorful you. You bless the world with color and good luck. Oh, I can't wait to see how many people see ladybugs this week. And remember, they don't have to show up in the physical, which they will. You could see a sticker somewhere, or somebody's painted a picture somewhere, or who knows. But have fun with that, and we shall see. All right, you guys, thank you again for sharing your questions and participating, being seekers, and I will see you next week. Okay, bye. Oops.